just saw the
Uh-huh.
projections
Yeah.
uh, from the bracketology on ESPN, and
Mhm.
right now they're the 2 seed in South Carolina's region. So even to get to
Woo!
the Final Four, you have to beat South Carolina in the Elite Eight. That's going to be tough.
You do not want to see them in the Elite Eight. You don't want to see them before the Final Four. Like, because after a game against them, it's like, how much are you actually gonna have left? That's emotional. That's a physical toll, man. That's a beast they got down there in Columbia.
And I don't think South Carolina's losing a game anytime soon.
No, man, no. And like you said, they're projected a 2 seed right now. They still have that big matchup with Ohio State, who recently just clinched the Big Ten. So, like you said, Nick, everything's running through Ohio right now.
Oh yeah, and I know last night Iowa talked about this after the game. After 21 made threes against Minnesota, just
Mhm.
absolute dominance.
Yeah.
And not just Caitlin Clark. Everybody was getting involved. Everybody sharing that
Letting
sugar,
that
getting
thing
those
fly.
buckets. But they were all saying that seeing Ohio State win right before their game fueled them to just go out and have a performance and kind of finish the season strong. A lot of the players mentioned it. Caitlin Clark mentioned it in the post game. Gabby Marshall as well mentioned it. She's one of the big kind of 3-point shooters on the team,
Mhm.
leader as well. That kind of motivated them to see Ohio State win the regular season title, knowing that they could easily have a rematch with them for the Big Ten tournament title. And you pass them and you beat them in the Big Ten, you're probably getting that last 1 seed because you can't take Ohio State off the 1 seed line. But if you can beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship and to end the regular season, that's 2 wins against them in a week and a half stretch right before the tournament. That could get you that last 1 seed. That can get you out of that
Yeah.
that death region we're talking about with South Carolina.
No, absolutely. And if it's even close for Iowa, that new contract with ESPN, they getting that bump. If it's even close, they get Iowa getting that bump, man. We want to see Caitlin go as far as
Oh
possible.
yeah.
So they definitely getting that bump if it's close, man. They will get Ohio State smooth up out of here.
That's gonna be a crazy game as well because I also sent you the ticket prices for that game. That's the most
Bro.
expensive women's game of all time. I'm talking not just college, WNBA, other professional games of all time. The
Jeez.
get in price $509.
Bro, that's rent
Get
for
in
some
price.
people.
Get in price.
That's a car payment. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. 509. Where is it? Is it at home for y'all? Is it at home for Iowa?
It's in Iowa City. Yep.
Ooh, standing room only.
Yep. Yep. And how their arena works is you walk in and the stadium's like down in a bowl. So I bet you people be standing on the concourse trying to look down. Like that place
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yo, how is the student section? Do they have trouble getting tickets?
The it this is kind of this has been a long debate because it's a facility that hasn't been updated in a long time.
Mhm.
And this is we've seen all like the court stormings and stuff
Yeah.
on both sides, men's and women's side. You're
Mhm.
talking about this year with Caitlin Clark after the Ohio State game, but their seats are not like their student seats are not right on the floor or close to the floor. There's a huge like gap area for like wheelchair
Mhm.
and other disability people right behind like the baseline and the baskets,
Mhm.
and that goes like a couple rows deep before you even get to the stands.
Okay.
So sometimes it doesn't feel like the environment is that
Right.
popping
Because
all the
the
time.
crowd isn't exactly on
Yeah,
top of you.
because the crowd is not necessarily on top. I mean, it does get loud, especially during the women's games when it's sold out in there. Like you can hear how loud it is,
Mhm.
but there's just some atmospheres where it's like behind the
Yeah.
basket, like the fans are. You're watching the free throws, you can see all the
Yeah.
signs.
It's more intimidating.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little more intimidating. With Iowa, they haven't updated it yet, so it's kind of like the seats are pushed back. So sometimes it kind of seems a little empty in there sometimes.
What do you think about having that home court advantage? Last game to play Ohio State, like they've clinched it, but you're still playing for that 1 seed. You're still playing for momentum to get into the Big Ten. What could this game mean to Iowa and that community?
Oh, a lot. I mean, it certainly helps that this is at home for them. Um, it's looking like if you're in that top 16 rankings
Mhm.
of teams, you're gonna host that first weekend of regionals. So Iowa's looking like they'll secure that either way, no matter what happens
Mhm.
on Saturday, being a top 16 team. So you get two more additional games at home as well in the tournament. So just to go into momentum into the Big Ten tournament,
Right.
get that double bye in the Big Ten tournament, which is huge. You get those extra 2 days of rest on top of the rest you have going in those couple of days. Um, it would be massive. It'd be huge. To kind of have those give those fans that experience going in and giving your fans some faith going into the even more important games going forward. That hey, like this is not over. Caitlin
Mhm.
Clark she still has another chapter of that story to write. She didn't say the end yet.
Nah, absolutely, talk. Absolutely. Man, I mean, it's just like, Hollywood, you couldn't draw it up better, man. You got a ranked, top two, top three Ohio State team, top 10 matchup we got here. Caitlin Clark's last game at the crib, scoring record on the line to pass Pistol Pete. Senior night for a lot of these girls, like you said, this roster has been together. Iowa isn't crazy in the transfer portal. They recruit and keep a lot of these players together, man. This is like what the most winningest class in Iowa history, I'm assuming.
Oh, but yeah, between the last 2 years, that's far and away, the most. Um, and yeah, I mean that just speaks to this team, playing, going through the hard times. Especially Caitlin. She started out, and Kay Martin, and all these seniors really started out in their first year was the COVID year. So
Oh,
you're only playing in front of your parents. Not even, I mean, that's what Iowa did, but a lot of these other teams, you're not even playing in front of anybody.
right.
So just kind of see the build up to it. you know COVID year, you come in and it's like you can't really get behind it because it's like no one's really there. But and just see it build up. Last year you had the sellouts. This year you've sold out every game. There's some other arenas this year
Yeah.
for other teams that never had sellouts before. It's just, yeah, it's a good time right now for Iowa fans.
What's like just talking with Coach Bluter and the staff, like, what has been their vibe so far, just going through this kind of winding down. You're also like, you got to stay focused, obviously, but you're also seeing like there's never gonna be another Caitlin Clark that walks through those doors either.
Oh yeah, no, it's. I mean, they'll give their little coach answers like, we're just living in the moment. We love the moment for Caitlin when she breaks all the records, like,
Mhm.
and you could even see, there was a lot of pictures that came out, the record breaking night, when Caitlin's watching the video up on the jumbotron. Lisa Bluter's just looking at her like with a huge smile, and everyone's like, I want somebody to look at me like Lisa Bluter looks at. You know?
The
But
internet is
so
undefeated.
yeah, but the coaches just love those moments. The teams love those moments for her. But just going forward, yeah, like there's still a lot to accomplish. I mean, you didn't win the Big Ten regular season.
Yeah,
Going into the year in the preseason, you were projected to win the Big Ten, so that's already one goal that wasn't accomplished. So what you have next? You have beat Ohio State, then you want to win the Big Ten, then you want to have that number one seed probably going in. Those are probably the next three goals. So you don't get the one, but the next 3 out of 4 is probably the best that you want. And so
facts.
especially like the senior day decision to make this WNBA draft announcement before that, it just goes to show that this team wants to focus on the team.
Mhm.
It's no longer about Caitlin anymore. She broke the record. She announced what she's gonna do. It's time to just focus in now on these important games as a team.
Definitely playing chess, not checkers with the decision.
Yeah,
Like you said, man, getting it out of the way. Now there's no pressure, no emotional, you know what I'm
and
saying?
also like I don't know if you watched the Indiana game last week, but
Huh. Yeah. Got their
man,
doors blown off.
that was rough. I mean, Kalen only had 8 made shots that game, 24 points, and
Yeah.
that seems like a lot for somebody, but not for her.
Yeah. They had her in
She
that
pulled up
box.
15 out of 30. So to have a couple of bounce back games against Illinois, Minnesota, kind of hit your stride again going into another important game against a ranked team when it was really looking kind of doomy and gloomy. there against Indiana, and you're getting everybody else involved now. The benches come up really big, and that the rest of the starting five has come up really big these last two games against Illinois and Iowa, scoring over 100 points
Yeah.
games as well. And then a crazy stat to bring up to you this season after losing a game,
Uh,
Iowa averages 103 points.
ooh,
So,
wee.
and
Hey,
you saw it against Illinois,
they came
Minnesota,
out
back to back.
swinging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're hitting those three balls like they
Hmm.
did against Minnesota because Ohio State you have to deal with Cody McMahon and
Right.
she stretches the floor. Like I was telling you, I didn't even know she had
Yeah. She
a
got
game
that jumper.
because against Iowa the last time she was just pounding it in. But
Yeah.
so she's gonna bring the defense out. So Iowa's got to make those outside shots because if they try to go down low, you don't know what's gonna happen. So if they can make those threes again and get everybody else shooting the ball other than Kaylin, I think they could make it close or even win the game.
I know a lot of the blame for that Indiana loss that I saw went on Caitlin. They were saying, she was out there trucking and she goes on these cold streaks where she tries to shoot herself out of and she can shoot them out of games. They were saying she wasn't trusting her teammates enough. They weren't getting opportunities. And then the next two games, she comes out, like you said, gets everybody involved, gets those triple doubles. Did you see a change in that? Like, I mean, obviously she's played with these girls forever. So not to say she doesn't trust them or she isn't trusting them, but like, what do you think changed to help her, get them more involved in these last two games?
I think it was just I think she was just feeling a lot of the pressure. Usually, I mean, the same thing happened in the Nebraska game as well down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
What you alluded to about how she kind of was trying to take the game into her own hands,
Mm-hmm.
shooting a lot of shots that and wasn't making them. I think it was just a lot of the pressure of just the moment.
Yeah.
And I think and that kind of puts this decision a little bit as well. This draft decision, like it was probably a lot weighing on her, even though she wouldn't tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now she can kind of just go in playing free. Like she's like, I already know what I'm doing next. Now it's time to get this, this be back in the moment, get these wins, get these important wins.
Yep.
Deliver. Even put more onto my legacy that I already had, because yeah, like you were saying, the Indiana game probably, she probably could have got the teammates involved a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen her do that a lot of times this year. Like if she's not having a good game, she usually gets her teammates involved, which is
Yeah.
why she leads the nation in assists too. Like
Right.
not just points.
Mm-hmm.
I just think those games, just the magnitude of them, like the Nebraska game, that was going to be a really bad loss if you lost that. Indiana,
Right.
you're at Indiana against a ranked team. You already beat them once.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to beat a team twice, especially in conference play on their home floor. And when the Big Ten is just so hard to win on the road, like it's
Yeah.
insane how like there's just been like unranked teams beating ranked teams on their home floor this whole
Yeah.
year.
It's a gauntlet.
And so I just think I think she can play free now, kind of
Mm-hmm.
on this last stretch because she already has a scoring record out of the way,
Right.
already has this decision out of the way now. So, I mean, you know, if I was her, I'd be like, okay, wow, I can go in now. I can be me, and I know based off how my teammates produced these last two games, especially against Minnesota, it's like, hey, like we're all feeling it right now. We're all
Yeah.
we're all we're all ready for this postseason to hit. We're all ready to play our best basketball.
Yeah, it seems like going into this game now with Ohio State, now that the decision's made, she's declared that they are fully in postseason mode now. It seems like that's kind of the shift that's happening. They got this big game coming. You mentioned the Indiana game and the Ohio State game last time they played, and in both those losses, the post players for both those teams, the Hoosiers as well as the Buckeyes, got busy and were just causing all types of problems on the glass down low. Looking at this rematch with Ohio State, we mentioned Cody can stretch the floor. They've got J.C. Shelton, Celeste Taylor out there, a lot of talent in Ohio State. But looking at that matchup, the keys to the game for Iowa, I think, they have to make shots like they have been as a team. because Caitlin's definitely going to get a lot of attention. But I think the X factor really could be Hannah Stolke if she can really wall up down low and really own the paint and also just have one of those scoring outbursts that we've seen her be capable of.
Oh yeah, I mean Stelke, she's been that number 2 option for Clark all year. You know, Caitlin's fed her, and she can get up and down the floor, like like Drake said, 0 to 100 real quick. Like
Yeah.
she'd be getting down the floor, and with Caitlin's court vision, I mean, we talked about this I think all 3 times, but it's just so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the court vision she has, just see her right off the rebound and just go full court with it down. I mean, that's how you're going to beat Ohio State with
Right.
all the bigs, because you got to tire them out getting up and down in the transition game, get those fast break points. Because as much as as much as you're going to try to pound it in the paint, your
Mm-hmm.
paint points are going to have to come off the fast break opportunities. Because
Right.
if you wait too long, they're going to clog the lane, or they're going to try to stretch you out.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, man. I'm excited for the game. Before we get out of here, any final predictions for that matchup?
Oh man, I mean, national TV. It's going to be on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Gus Johnson on the call again for the third
Whew,
time.
the legend.
So he's so speechless. The last game he was like, Caitlin, Caitlin, Caitlin. Like, so you already know he's gonna have some like legendary call. And he even said like, oh, I don't even have a nickname for her. She's just Caitlin. Like,
First name only. You don't even need
yeah, that's some respect right there. Gus Johnson doesn't have to give you a nickname. But no, it's going to be a crazy game. College game day is going to be there as well.
Oh man.
Al Duncan, Drea Carter, all
Oh,
them.
they bringing the women's night. They bringing the whole crew.
Like everybody going to be there. So it's going to be a big day
Yes.
in Iowa State, just in general. They were at this game last year, this last game of the year, which was against Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember that game, that was Caitlin Clark's buzzer beater to beat Indiana.
Ooh, yes, sir.
So, I mean, I'm not trying to foreshadow anything, but I mean, last
Hey.
time College Game Day was there, national TV game, afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, buzzer beater. Oh,
Hey, crazier things have happened. History tends to repeat itself.
so that's my prediction. We could see a buzzer beater. That's
Hey
my.
man,
I'll leave it at that.
hey, we will definitely be locked in for that one and have to have you on again next week after that game for sure. Because it's going to be a major one as they get ready for that Big Ten run. Nick, let them know where to find you at on social media, my guy.
If they watch the last video, you already know. If the Z not there, don't say it. And cuz NCOUZ. That's on Twitter, Instagram. Those are I'm on the most. You can find me on there a lot on Twitter as well, or X, whatever it's called now.
Whatever,
Like you don't know. We don't know. Some people still got the Bird app. Some people got the X app now. It is what it is.
the most pointless rebrand ever. I
Yeah,
gotta say,
exactly.
man,
But,
most pointless
yeah,
ever.
so that's people can find me at NCuz for all your Iowa and Hawkeyes coverage.
Yes, sir. Make sure to give my guy a follow. That's Nick Cousin, not your uncle, baby. Until next time, this is the Dukes of the Gridiron Podcast. We out.